On January 23rd, netizens reported that the owner of a clothing processing factory in Weiyang ran away overnight with tens of millions, leaving the workers without a penny of their wages. It is understood that this clothing processing factory is quite large, employing hundreds of workers. Most of these workers are from rural areas and come to the city to work for a living. After the incident, the workers tried different channels to find the boss and ask for their wages, but never received a satisfactory response. After several unsuccessful negotiations, they chose to collectively go to the rooftop, hoping to draw social attention to their plight and fight for their legal rights. China has recently fallen into an economic downturn, with foreign capital withdrawing, a series of collapses among real estate and financial giants, a sharp decline in the stock market, and a wave of closures across various industries, leading to an increasingly severe unemployment rate and making life difficult for the people. There have also been incidents where company owners have run away with funds or delayed paying wages, leading workers to seek rights at companies and provincial governments.
Hey brother, what are you sitting here for? I'm here to collect debts from the new society. You're here to collect debts, but why do you look so pitiful? Look at them, all armed and in order. Now you see our country's firefighters.
As China's economy declined, the manufacturing industry was the first to be impacted. With continuous rise in the cost of various raw materials and businesses reducing orders due to decreased transaction volumes, many factories have seen their business plummet. Many small, medium-sized factory owners could not withstand the impact and eventually chose to close down. The clothing industry was hit the hardest, with the industry in China being said to have completely collapsed. Clothing industry players have said that now, in 3 out of the 4 seasons of the year, they don't make money, not even with wool sweaters and down jackets in winter. Weiyang town in Zhejiang province, known as the wool sweater capital, was not immune to this downturn. The crisis led to an accumulation of unsold products in warehouses, resulting in excessively high operational costs for factories. Consequently, these factories are faced with 2 choices: either shut down completely or halt the acceptance of new orders, and also requesting early payments from their customers. However, this factory in Weiyang is not the first this year, and it certainly will not be the last. On January 28th in Jiexing, Zhejiang, migrant workers were also owed wages by a clothing factory owner, with workers trying to get the Labor Bureau involved. However, the arrival of the police not only did not address the issue, but instead drove the workers out of the factory. The helpless workers had no choice but to choose to jump from the building's rooftop to demand wages.
They protect the boss's rights. The boss called the police on us. Can we understand it this way? Now that we are looking for leaders, it's like there's a barrier. We can't see the leaders, right? Can we understand it this way? The leaders in the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security will deal with this situation. The Labor Bureau doesn't take any actions. They don't make arrests or even meet with us. Calling the police, the ministry dispersed us the first time. Protecting the boss, we can't even take things. Nothing is allowed.
This kind of situation frequently appears in many places in China, where owners run away with funds due to the factory being on the verge of closing and owing wages. On January 18th in Chengdu, Henan, a large number of merchants went to the provincial government to seek rights due to the owner of Henan Taihang Wu Liu running away with funds, but they were beaten and driven away by public security officers. It is reported that the owner of Henan Taihang Wu Liu ran away overnight on the 15th, selling the goods before fleeing and taking away employee wages, branch guarantees, etc. Merchants went to the company's headquarters to seek rights on the 16th, only to find it empty, and then went to the provincial government to seek rights, but were met with violence from the police. The logistics company had once been awarded Model Enterprise for honest operation by Chengdu City. However, now with a person in charge running away, the affected merchants reach hundreds, with the amount involved at least in the tens of millions. On January 25th, a rights protection incident also occurred in Jingdezhen, Jiangxi. Jingdezhen Ceramic Culture Tourism Group owed workers wages for up to 3 years, with a large number of workers gathering outside the company to demand wages. From videos circulated on the internet, workers could be seen shouting outside the company, Our money is hard-earned, demanding it is only right and proper. Recently, due to the poor economic environment in China, a large number of enterprise factories have closed down. The unemployment rate has sharply risen, and the lives of the people have been miserable, with frequent incidents of wage disputes and rights protection severely impacting the stability of the Chinese Communist regime. To maintain the regime, China's Ministry of State Security recently proposed 10 new scenarios suspected of endangering national security, creating a climate of terror in society, and intimidating the public not to act rashly. In China, being invited by public security agencies for a talk or investigation due to suspected illegal and criminal activities is colloquially known as being invited for tea. On January 30th, the WeChat public account of China's Ministry of State Security published an article titled, "Listen to our advice, don't let the state security agencies invite you for these 10 cups of tea," claiming that the public might be invited by state security agencies for tea. These 10 situations include crimes endangering national security, engaging in or assisting espionage activities, illegally obtaining or possessing state secrets, and engaging in actions endangering national security other than espionage, with a strong intimidating tone. According to China's criminal procedure law, counter-espionage law, and other legal regulations, state security agencies have criminal and administrative law enforcement powers. The first cup of tea is for suspected crimes endangering national security. Suspects will be filed for investigation, subject to criminal coercive measures such as summoning, detention, and interrogation, and evidence will be collected to determine the suspect's guilt or innocence and the severity of the crime. The other 9 cups of tea are for engaging in or assisting espionage activities, not implementing the primary responsibility for counter-espionage security measures, violating construction project permits involving national security, refusing to cooperate with espionage investigations, illegally obtaining or possessing state secrets, illegally producing, selling, possessing, or using espionage equipment, leaking state secrets related to counter-espionage and intelligence work, violating decisions on restricted exit, and engaging in actions endangering national security other than espionage. The news immediately sparked heated discussions online. Netizens commented, "How come the term drinking tea has been taken by them to use? Are there so many spies now? How could there be so many spies? Can a worker with a monthly salary of $3,000 encounter a spy? Does violating the prohibition on lending restricted stocks count as a crime endangering national security? The building of our community was unfinished, and we said we would seek rights, but we were also invited for tea." Some comments suggested the 10 cups of tea introduced by the state security departments are akin to pocket crimes, with vague boundaries for espionage crimes. If the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, wants to punish, they can invite the public for tea in the name of national security at any time, highlighting the incompetence of CCP leader Xi Jinping's governance. Xiao Yuhui also said that the CCP has now delegated the authority to summon witnesses to local police stations, highlighting the authorities' increasingly severe stability maintenance and surveillance measures. As the economic situation worsens and different groups in society and individuals speak out, the National Security Departments released the article 10 Cups of Tea to instill greater fear among the populace, creating an atmosphere of fear where people are afraid to speak out about their grievances. Zhu Rui, a university teacher in Germany, believes that Xi Jinping lacks governance skills and wants both economic development and national security, but these contradictory actions cause various functional departments to hinder each other.
Regarding the National Security Department's invitation for tea article, he sarcastically commented that the National Security Department should invite Premier Li Qiang for tea.
Zhu Rui said, "This reflects Xi Jinping's desire for both national security and economic development. His governance approach is to assign his wish list to his subordinates."
The Minister of National Security, Chen Yixing, only needs to focus on national security while Premier Li Qiang is only responsible for China's economic development.
However, developing China's economy requires opening the domestic market to global investors and welcoming foreign companies to operate normally in China. But such normal operations will clash with Chen Yixin's.
In the end, Chen Yixin should be going after Premier Li Qiang. It's quite absurd.
The CCP authorities have repeatedly raided foreign consulting and research companies operating in China, including American firms Mintz Group and Bain & Company, detaining some employees. In December last year, the Ministry of State Security explicitly intervened in the economy and then concocted the absurd green light spy script to encourage the whole nation to catch spies. In early January, the Ministry of State Security claimed to have cracked a case of MI6 using third country personnel to engage in espionage activities in China. It then claimed that foreign institutions were precisely recruiting volunteers among Chinese aviation enthusiasts to illegally collect and secretly transmit flight data of Chinese aircraft to foreign countries. On January 26, a spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that a British businessman had been sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2022 for buying and illegally providing intelligence for foreign entities. China's sudden exit from an upgraded version of the counter-espionage law not only fails to alleviate China's national security issues, but also stirs greater public discontent, causing social unrest and leading to more foreign capital withdrawal from China and Hong Kong. This results in more factories and related enterprises either closing down or laying off employees, leaving more people without an economic source. This vicious cycle will only intensify, further destabilizing the CCP regime. As China's economy continues to struggle and geopolitical tensions rise, numerous foreign investors are withdrawing from China, including their main manufacturing factories. According to a report by Agence France-Presse on January 27th, the German pharmaceutical company Bayer Group announced significant layoffs in China. In a statement, Bayer stated that the layoffs must be implemented swiftly in the coming months and completed by the end of 2025. Bayer has 32,000 employees in China and over 100,000 globally. The layoffs will target employees responsible for management or coordination tasks to improve Bayer Group's operational efficiency. Shanghai has the highest number of layoffs, with project teams collectively laid off, and factories in Beijing, Nanjing, Chengdu, and Weiyang will also progressively proceed with layoffs. Additionally, the American car manufacturer Ford closed its factory in Nanjing, laying off 9,000 people. On January 30th, Teradyne, a globally renowned supplier of automatic test equipment, announced its withdrawal from manufacturing in China, valued at $1 billion. Teradyne is the world's largest supplier of integrated circuit automatic test equipment, mainly used for testing semiconductors, boards, and electronic systems. One of its main semiconductor testing equipment manufacturing bases is located in Suzhou, China. In recent years, as the technology war between the U.S. and China intensifies and regulatory agencies restrict trade in sensitive technologies like chip manufacturing, many American companies have been striving to reduce their dependence on China. To prevent American technology from aiding the Chinese military, the U.S. Department of Commerce in October 2022 completely banned the export of advanced artificial intelligence chips to China. The Biden administration also announced an upgraded version of the chip ban in October 2023. Additional export control measures were introduced to tighten the channels through which the CCP can acquire advanced semiconductors and chip manufacturing equipment capable of training artificial intelligence algorithms. The U.S. has also introduced regulations requiring companies to obtain a license to export chips to more than 40 countries to prevent the CCP from acquiring these chips through middlemen. Teradyne issued a financial report on January 30th, warning investors in its 2022 annual report about the potential impact of the new regulations in October. In October 2023, Teradyne stated that these restrictions affected its sales to certain companies in China and its manufacturing and development business. Brian Amaro, Teradyne's Global Compliance and Ethics Director, participated in the Massachusetts Export Center's annual online Export Expo on January 26. During a session on how to deal with export controls, he discussed the situation of manufacturing withdrawal from China. He stated, "We manufacture in China, so we had to obtain emergency authorization to continue this activity. We consider it too risky, so we decided to move our manufacturing out of China at a significant cost." Amaro mentioned that despite obtaining authorization, some suppliers still refused to ship to the company, leading to supply chain disruptions. The company reported that it ultimately obtained a permit to mitigate the regulatory impact when the U.S. updated its rules in October 2023, creating exceptions for test equipment used in wafer fabrication. Although Teradyne was not the direct target of these rules, the company was significantly impacted by the new U.S. regulations. This impact was reflected in market share, although Amaro did not provide specific figures. In the 3 months leading up to October 1st last year, the Chinese market accounted for 12% of revenue compared to 16% in the same period last year. However, Teradyne is one of many companies affected by the chip ban and deciding to exit the Chinese market. According to reports from several domestic media outlets, Dell Technologies' new case of canceling the registration suggests it will soon be canceled, following HP's cancellation. On January 30th, China Economic Weekly reported that according to the Tianyangcha app, Dell Technologies added a cancellation registration announcement with the reason for cancellation being a resolution to dissolve, and the announcement period from January 26th to March 11th. The company was established in April 2011 with Wang Lijun as the legal representative, registered capital of 30 million renminbi. Its business scope includes the sale, including export and leasing, after-sales support, and related quality assurance, support, and technical maintenance services of Dell brand products and related series of products, wholly owned by Dell Asia Holdings Private Limited. In response to Chinese media, Dell stated that the adjustment, as mentioned earlier, of industrial and commercial information is a normal company behavior and will not affect Dell's operations in China. Dell Technologies initiated the cancellation process in August 2020 and entered into liquidation. The decision to cancel was made because the entity had not conducted any substantial business for many years. Dell committed that China has always been an important international market for Dell, and it is looking forward to continuing development in China in the future. However, according to a report by Nikkei Asia in early January, Dell plans to stop using Chinese-made chips by 2024 and reduce the use of parts manufactured in China. In addition to chips, Dell also requires suppliers of other components, such as electronic modules and printed circuit boards, as well as product assemblers, to prepare capacity in countries outside China, such as Vietnam. Believes that the escalating geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China are making electronics manufacturers more serious about implementing alternative plans, such as establishing a meaningful alternative production base outside China. This is also the case for American electronics manufacturers and brands such as Apple. As Teradyne and Dell withdraw, who will be the next foreign investor to exit the Chinese market? However, with the new espionage law in place, to alleviate the CCP's paranoia, more foreign investments will leave in the future, and China's economy will further decline, possibly bringing the day when the Chinese people rise against authoritarianism closer.